Hi, Professor Marcelo here from Gracie Barra in Canada. In this video today, I'm gonna help you to keep your school fighting through this pandemic. And actually the tips I'm gonna give, it helps most of our small businesses. All right, but the first question that you might be wondering is like, who is this guy to help me to deal with the financial side of things? Okay, I'll be very honest. I don't feel comfortable to start bragging myself here in the video. So I'm gonna leave my bio in the comments below and you can check it out if you're interested. I do believe that this video can save your school, and I'm gonna share kind of the presentation that I did for my team with all of you. I believe naturally the second question that could come up is why this guy is doing this? Why Marcelo is helping out other school owners? They're like my competitors, right? It's very simple. I really believe in competition, and that not only applies in Jiu-Jitsu. That's one of the reasons I incentivize my students to compete, even myself, because I understand that competition pushes you forward. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, and that means improvement. That same thing applies to the real economy. If I have other schools teaching Jiu-Jitsu, it kind of pushes me to provide a better service, and I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable to help people, and I know that I'm helping myself as well by improving, and it's a win-win, guys. So let's get to business. You can see below in the comments the presentation, so the link to download the presentation that I did, and I want you to stick with me, like open this link, and then I'm gonna walk you through the presentation together. And if you need to watch this video a couple times to be able to process the amount of information I'm giving to you, because some skills are new to you, yeah, do it. Like, take your notes as well. It's very important that you understand. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the presentation, a finance action plan to save your school or small business. All right, this is a quick disclaimer, right? I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, that's just my opinion, but I really believe that you should listen to. Starting from the mindset, okay, we're gonna talk about right now is not the mindset of the structure, it's not the mindset of like you as a father or a mother, it's the mindset of the person that's in charge of the finance of the school. Okay, that's the first point. Then I'm gonna explain how to manage the cash flow. That's the part that I'm gonna explain how you're gonna deal with the situation more specifically. And then later we're gonna get a little deeper on that, like how to define the size of the adjustment that you need to make, strategies to cut costs, and so on. So starting from the mindset, out of a sudden, we all got surprised by this coronavirus. It was like a bomb that dropped on our business, on our schools. And if a bomb was dropped, it means that we are at war. Like for business right now, it's a very difficult time. I think it's very important as you're like in charge of the the financial side of things, to be very pessimistic, because in a war, things can get really ugly. So that's the idea here. It's not to let you guys to destroy your mood, like to be like a negative person, because that's not what I am. But when you're dealing with the financial side of things, when you're dealing with financial side in the middle of this chaos, I think you need to be conservative. The more conservative you are, the more the chances you're gonna survive, right? So the second slide, as I said, like be conservative, okay? That's gonna help you. That's what I mean by the mindset, okay? And just like in a war, the optimists die first. Okay, so how to manage the cash flow? That's the problem that we have to be able to solve, right, in the short run. So the first thing I'm suggesting is like make a list of all the money that's coming in, all the revenues in your school, and all the payments for the next 3 or 6 months, right? Rank both lists to see clear the priorities in terms of size on each list. Label your payments in essential and non-essential. It's time to review the critical ones. Don't rush to pay rent, neither to fire your employees. I'm gonna be more specific on that later on in the presentation. Don't pay a non-essential item before understanding the size of the adjustment and the real consequences. That's very important. I'm gonna go to that later on. If possible, request money from your credit line. I believe you already did. This presentation I finalized on the end of March, but I believe most of you already did. If you did not, rush for it. There are things coming from the government, but you can get money from private lenders as well. Okay, but it's important that you apply. It's important that you try your best to get your credit line so you can have a better financing to bridge this turbulence. And review a list at least once a week, I would say, to make sure it's up to date and accurate. Okay, so going to the numbers, once you made the list, you're gonna allocate, for example, the first month I was dealing was March. It's kind of not updated, as I said. Okay, let's pretend we're already in April. So let's start with April. $21,000. It's a hypothetical example. $21,000 in your bank account at the beginning of the month, and then your revenues is now $5,000, and you have payments. All the combination of your payments, they sum up to $10,000. So that leaves you with $16,000 at the end of the month, at the end of April. And then you got to make assumptions on how is going to be your revenues for the upcoming months, right? That's a gray area. That's very subjective. You got to figure out, you try to be, as I said in the beginning of the presentation, try to be as pessimistic as you can possibly be, because that's what's going to save you. So I'm assuming here in this example, flat $5,000 for all the upcoming months, and a flat payment, a disbursement of $10,000 per month, right? So what happens here is every month that goes by, I'm bleeding, right? I'm losing money. So what happens in August, my final balance is negative in $4,000. So the graph here kind of illustrates that, the yellow line is my bank account at the end of the month. My red line is my revenues that dropped drastically, and my expenses, in this example, I was not able to drop the expenses as much as the revenues. So that gives me a problem, a financial problem. So that kind of actually is the size of the problem that I have, because it's negative. I need that money. You need to apply for loans that will be able to cover this $4,000, or even more if you feel I don't want to be at the end of August with zero. So you need maybe $10,000, right? So that's just a hypothetical example to help you guys understand the framework. Okay, so let's go to the strategy to cut costs, right? You can do things to protect your revenues, because it's also part of the problem. You need to work on how to keep your students, and that's I'll leave to you. I'm not gonna go into that in this presentation, but we're gonna go to the part that you can cut costs and expenses. So the first thing is consider cutting everything that's non-essential, right? Even what's essential can be renegotiated if that means your survival. Don't cut things that are helping money to come in, and be creative. How can you save money? Negotiate with a landlord until the end. Is a huge expense for school owners, right? It's number one, number two usually. So you gotta be able to have an open dialogue with the landlord, because that's a relationship that you want to keep. But he or she needs to understand that this is unprecedented. So we need flexibility right now. It's very important to keep an open dialogue, as friendly as it can be. Consider reducing staff hours. Yeah, maybe that's something that you might need to do. You might need to change a bit your staff hours, since you're not open. You're forced to be closed. But pay attention to the rescue measures from your government, because they are related to employment. So if you rush to fire people, as I said in the beginning, maybe it's going to be detrimental for your application to get a loan. So Not only to consider that, but all the negative aspects of firing people, right? There are many negative outcomes from this decision. Pay your credit card with cheaper loans. Like, credit card is the most expensive finance that you have available right now. So don't leave your credit card to, like, don't let it pile up. And don't pay bills that were already waived by the government. You gotta know which bills can you skip, and don't forget to put that on your list, because later on at one point you're gonna need to pay it, right? And I don't think it's time to invest on marketing, right? I think it's time to protect your cash. Okay, and last but not least, you need to become an expert on the government emergency packages for obvious reason. Okay, guys, so I really think this presentation can help you. It's in the link below. All right. Okay, if you liked this video, if you feel like it's really helping people, like, feel free to share to all your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for general tips about Jiu-Jitsu. That's your way to contribute with my channel. So please do it, hit the like button, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Us!